So this Mr. Beast situation with Chris Tyson, Ava, whatever the crap he goes by, is getting ridiculous. It really is. I I heard the streamer's comments on a Amala Ekanobi video, and here is what he had to say, and I fully agree with him on everything he has to say. And remember, people, just cause you think certain things does not mean you're anti-trans or you're anti-gay or anti-anything. You are allowed to be criticized while being trans. You're not absolved of any form of criticism because you are trans. One of my former co-workers who has a trans sister-in-law and a gay brother who she loves fully has said it perfectly. You are not special because you are trans. You just aren't. And her sister-in-law and her brother, her trans sister-in-law and her gay brother, would fully agree with her. You're not special. So let's listen to what he had to say.
Streaming space regarding LGBTQ propaganda, Pride Month, its infiltration into kids spaces and into streaming spaces. Here he is.
I mean, just put two and two together. Apex is a very pro, fucking gay, pro trans, pro. And look, I'm not anti, but I'm not in the front of the parade doing the high knees either. You know what I mean? So live and let people live, but I mean, we clearly have a difference in opinion, across the board. So, I mean, if you're expecting them to give me an invite to their pro league, I mean, bro, I'd be so surprised if that ever fucking happened. You come across very anti, but I'm not anti. I made that extremely clear.
Let me cut in real quick. See right there, he got a comment on his chat saying, "You sound really anti right now. Give me a freaking break." Right now, at this point in time, any form of criticism that the rainbow community gets, you're anti the rainbow community. No, you're not. You can have 5 gay friends, 5 lesbian friends, and 5 trans friends all in your circle. And they could all be saying the exact same things you are about the Pride community. And you would still be anti. This is why I stopped giving a crap about people calling me homophobic or transphobic a long time ago. Because you will always be homophobic and transphobic unless you think the way they want you to. And that is cult-like behavior, and I'm not for that.
Extremely. And I told you where I draw my line, man. I think parents should be teaching their kids about stuff like that. When it's up to the schools and teachers that you might not know. Nah.
So there you go. You get a little taste of his viewpoint on the issue. And, he's sort of saying, I think it's a parent's job to teach these things to their children. So if we're going to be having these conversations at schools or within the gaming space, as he is a gamer, and we all know that gaming is getting increasingly more woke with diversity quota this and pronouns that and representation this, he's saying we need to keep that away from children in children's spaces, and gaming happens to be one of those spaces. So it's no wonder that he feels the same way about what's going on with Mr. Beast and his videos. And I'll show you just a brief example of a recent Mr. Beast video. This was posted 3 months ago, where Kris/Ava is featured in the video. There's no explicit reference to transgenderism. I think you might get a few pronouns here and there, switched pronouns, of course, she, her now that he identifies as a woman. But you can get a taste of maybe what the exposure would be to a child by watching this.
Hello?
I just want to double check. Do you actually like the taste of our new chocolate bar?
Yes, I love it.
That is true.
See? How many times are you going to ask that?
Okay, I just had to double check.
When we post a video, do you watch them?
Ooh.
Only if I'm in it.
Kris!
What do you want from me?
True.
Sorry. What, am I supposed to watch it without me in it? Why would I do that?
Was Jimmy a good roommate?
No.
That is a lie.
What?
So there you go. There's a little bit there.
And that kind of pisses me off. It really does, because I'm not a Mr. Beast fan. I liked him off and on, but I was never like a super huge mega fan. I only maybe saw a portion of his videos here and there. But it angers me because you are subjecting children to this. Even if you are the type of person who's like, okay, kids should be allowed around trans people and things like that. How do you explain to a child, okay, this man now is a woman? How do you go about that? How do you say that to a child? Actively, the man is transitioning right in front of these children's eyes. Right in front of these kids' eyes. How do you explain to them? It's just so weird, and it's gross, and it's disgusting. And I'm not saying trans people are gross and disgusting, but this attitude and behavior is gross and disgusting, and it is selfish. It is really selfish. And I just don't see how anybody could approve this. Period.
And like I said, they're going by Kris in the videos, but also goes by Ava on the internet. And I'm sure the children who are watching his content are aware of this. I can imagine as a parent, you're in a bit of a sticky situation if your kid is like a diehard Mr. Beast fan, and all of a sudden you have this biological male who's transitioning to be female right in front of their eyes through Mr. Beast videos. And I imagine there's a little bit of confusion there. If you see somebody who once was Kris, you know, a man married with, you know, wife and kids, and now we have Kris with the K, and he looks a lot different, and he's wearing, you know, red girlish hair and makeup and earrings and female clothes. I think you're going to be like, hey, Mom, you know, what's going on in this Mr. Beast video?
Exactly. You're going to be confused. You're going to be super confused. Why are we bringing this gender confusion into children's lives? Into kids' lives? Why are we bringing this in there? Why are we preaching this gender ideology crap? It makes no logical sense. And I spoke to somebody who either they were trans or they were a trans supporter or whatever, and they were talking about TERFs and crap like this, and I was like, so what do you think about Blair White, who disagrees with everything that you say? Do you think that do you think she's transphobic? And they were like, yeah. Blair White's transphobic and she's a grifter. Anybody, even if you're trans, anybody who goes against their narrative is a grifter. They're a pick-me. And so, just stop worrying or wondering what these people think. Say what you feel, and feel what you say, and mean it with your full chest. Because this is not going to get any better, guys. It's just not going to get any better. You've got to call these people out on their bullcrap every single chance you can, because this is going to confuse a lot of children, and that's what they want.
You're going to scroll through the comments to see what's going on, and you're going to be introduced to this idea of gender theory, and that gender and, you know, sex is assigned at birth, and you can choose your gender, and, you know, Kris was actually a woman born in a man's body, and this is not the sort of influence that we probably want to be having on children, especially those of a super young age, where the influence of this sort of ideology could lead them down the path of identifying as non-binary and trans, or at the very least getting a dose of something that I don't feel is representative of reality. So that's been the introduction to the issue here.
And I really don't see how this is a bad thing, what she just said. I don't see how this is controversial, how this is incorrect. Because here's the thing, little kids will see what they like on TV. If they like Kris, if they were a huge fan of Kris, and all they see is Kris turning into Ava, Kris is doing this, Kris is now a woman, all of a sudden these little kids are impressionable. They'll be like, oh, I think I'm a woman too. And because I think I'm a woman too, these parents who are most likely super progressive, who are siding with this, will think that, hey, my kid is trans, so they will get them gender affirming care. No. That's gross. And no, I'm not pinning this all on Mr. Beast. But part of it, I do believe, is Mr. Beast's issue. It really is. Best friend or not, you really need to think about this stuff, bro.
Now, Ava/Kris and Nick Merckx got into a little bit of a tiff on X, and Nick Merckx ended up tweeting out this, which we can read. You should be ashamed of yourself, leaving behind your wife and child to play pretend. One day you'll wake up and realize what you've done.
And I fully agree with that. That does not sound anti-trans. I've heard other trans people say the exact same thing or similar things. You have a wife, you have kids, and all of a sudden now you're trans? Really? Now you're this person that was hiding inside all along? Don't get me wrong. I understand gender dysphoria can come at any time, but we live in the year 2024 where you can self-diagnose just like that. Part of me doesn't really think Kris is trans and that this is all some big propaganda thing, but that's just me.
And of course, this is going to set off a ton of people. People were pissed. They were calling him a transphobe, saying that he hates trans people. How dare you call out Kris, who is so brave for going through his journey and becoming who he actually is, despite the fact that he had a wife and child.
Yeah, and those people are pathetic. They're full-blown pathetic. Because it's not like Nick Merckx just came after a random person who happened to be trans on Mr. Beast's show. This person had kids and a wife and all this other stuff, and now all of a sudden, you're expecting his wife to just accept you as being a trans woman all of a sudden? And maybe she will. Maybe she will. But I've seen some very weird things in Kris's Instagram from various videos that I've seen, such as him putting his son in high heel shoes, if I'm remembering correctly. Very weird things. Like, you don't expect people to question things a little bit. What is Kris implanting in his son's head? Is it good? Is it decent? We'll never know.
And then Ava / Kris and Mr. Beast themselves hopped in to defend Kris and his choices and say that he's still supporting his child. He's still with his child all the time. Here's the tweet from Mr. Beast. Ava is literally always with her child and doesn't even go on shoots to spend more time with him. Tuckman, who I'm assuming is the child, is always smiling. Not sure why this rumor is a thing.
Even if that's true, how is your son supposed to react to that? Oh, my daddy's now my trans mommy? What the hell? Are you serious, dude? These are all my thoughts on this situation. I'm going to cut the video here. But I think Kris Tyson has to be one of the most selfish people on the internet right now. I really, truly do. I hope his wife is okay. And I hope he doesn't absolutely fuck up his son's life over this. I really do. Screw Kris Tyson, screw Mr. Beast. I hope that young boy doesn't come with mental scarring from this, because it has to be a mental toll on this child to see his daddy become another mommy. It just has to be, regardless of who you support or what you support. That just has to be very taxing on a young child's brain. Have a blessed day. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. If you find this transphobic, what I've been saying, you can go shove your head in a hole for all I care. Bye.